What's poppin', everybody? Hello and welcome to Popcorn Culture. My name is Ben Carlin and I am your host. Here with me today is my brother Jay, who will be in every episode.
The co-hostiest with the mostiest, Jazzy J.
I mean, that was a pretty good, radio in.
Yeah.
You know,
I can see you being like, that was so official. I don't even know if I could.
And
I can see it in your eyes.
I don't even know if I should contest it. Maybe really what it comes down to is if I just stop contesting it, period, and just let you believe.
Yeah.
You know, it's like that's fine. It'd be like, it's like letting Santa be real.
That's right.
You know,
Go ahead and stop contesting it. I agree. I like this straight of thought.
You being the host of the show is the real life equivalent of Santa being real.
What is it?
Yeah, I think
in
so.
In that case, it's like the end of every Christmas movie.
The end of every Christmas movie being what? The true meaning of Christmas?
That Santa normally ends up being real.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Not every Christmas movie.
I
feel like most Christmas movies, it's like, you know what? As it turns out, it's not about all these other little trivial things. It's not about gifts. It's about being together. It's about family.
Yeah. That's what it's about. But Santa still ends up being real.
Yeah, well, those are movies anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, anyway, co-host...
Movies are just as real as your co-host status is.
Very?
The plot of movies. I should have clarified.
I'm pretty sure we talk about movies.
Jay, how about a nice corny joke? Because I'm pretty sure I forgot it here and late.
Wow, yeah, let's have a corny joke then.
I actually really like this one. I don't know why, but I saw it and it just caught my fancy. What do sea monsters eat?
Seaweed salad. I don't know.
God, that would be so not appetizing at all.
But if you go to a sushi place and ask for the seaweed salad, I do find it quite satisfying.
No. You want to know what the best salad you can get from a restaurant is the Kani salad.
The Kani salad?
Kani, Kani salad.
Okay.
If you go, there's a restaurant here in Roanoke called Cafe Asia 2.
The sequel.
The second. Yeah. And
can you imagine if every McDonald's was named you guys go to McDonald's? Which one? 3,901 or 3,907?
What are the odds that you would have two that were so close in number? In close proximity to you.
Yeah, you're right. It'd probably be more likely that at one point they determined you did need a McDonald's in your market, and then later after the population grew, they were like, you know what?
We need to.
This place can support dose McDonald's.
McDonald's the second / 3,703rd.
Exactly.
for this area. Okay. Anyway, at Cafe Asia 2 here in Roanoke, it's like a sushi restaurant.
Yeah.
And they have this thing where if you go in and if you sit at the sushi bar, which is 7 seats or something, it's not many, they will treat you to a free Kani salad, which is not on the menu, but it's like that crab meat, sort of panko breadcrumb, orange yum sauce flavored.
Yeah, it's very good.
It's very good.
It's worth sitting at the bar for.
But then I found that you don't even they don't put it on the menu, but you can just order it anyway.
You can just order it,
and they give you an even bigger serving. And honestly, it is my absolute favorite. I am a known slow eater when it comes to eating all things. As a kid growing up, it would actually be the case every single night. I think it was when I got all my quality time talking to mom in, because you and Tyler will have run off to I don't know, play games, whatever kids do. I would typically be sitting there with my plate still full, eating away slowly.
I don't remember you being such a slow eater even as a child.
No, I was. Okay. Yeah, no, I absolutely remember that. You can confirm with mom if you want to.
I will.
She'll back me on this one.
Okay. You say so.
You wouldn't have noticed. You're too busy being a kid.
Yeah.
Believing in Santa and things. Anyway,
co-hosting podcasts.
Anyway, where was I going with this? We were talking about
Kani salad.
Kani salad.
Yeah.
I eat it fast.
You eat it fast.
If it is placed before me, it's kind of watch out, because Ben's about to eat.
He's about to scarf.
So
the secret of Cafe Asia 2 is sit at the bar and you'll get the secret menu item. But the double secret is don't sit at the bar, just order it and you'll get a double portion.
You'll get even more of it.
Right. And you have to pay for it.
It will make the whole trip worth it. It is not my favorite sushi restaurant in Roanoke, and I do have a favorite sushi restaurant, and I will literally go to this restaurant because they have the Connie salad.
Interesting.
It's like, it's that much of a draw to me that it's like, in fact, right now while I'm sitting here, I'm like, I'm fairly certain I'm going to order one for takeout.
Would you go there for like drinks and Connie and then go to a different sushi place and have the sushi?
I'm not going to lie to you, Jay. I would do it.
You would do it?
I can't even go so far as to say that I haven't done that.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a bit. So to me, like, if you live in a big city with tons of options, the idea of like going out for drinks at one place, appetizers at another place, a main course somewhere, and like going to a fourth place for dessert doesn't feel that far-fetched.
No, it doesn't.
It feels like a fun evening out.
Right, like maybe what you're trying to do is like hit many of the stops, or you're kind of taking like an a la carte approach to like, this place has really good cocktails, this place has like small plates.
Exactly.
This place over here, you know, it's like they've got like a spectacular burger.
Dude, I love small plates.
Yeah?
Small plate restaurants.
I know.
What are they called?
Tapas.
I love tapas. So
tapas
fun.
is fun because it's such an interactive way to go out to eat with your friends, because you're like, everybody's taking like a single bite of any given dish, and it's like, oh, how was that? That was good. That was weird.
I know. I'm always like, we're not going to have enough food. They don't bring enough stuff. There's never enough food on any little small plate, and I'm not going to have enough food. And then I get there, and it's like overwhelming how much they bring you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's true. It's true. Also, though, I do feel like when we go to tapas restaurants, it always ends up being very expensive. Well, maybe it's because we're like,
yeah, everyone splits the check, though, you know.
Oh, I see.
Because that by design, I think.
That's how it's supposed to work. To make it less bad.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Anyway, I don't think you ever told us the punchline to that corny joke you told.
I know. What do sea monsters eat? It's fish and chips.
Fish and chips.
How good is that?
That's such a good one.
Might be my new favorite corny joke we've ever told on here on the Pop.
That was hilarious.
I know.
I love that one.
Oh, what a really great one. Poor chips, but like worth it for the joke.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like I'm glad that at least a few went down just so we can enjoy this.
Right.
Coming into this week's episode of the Pop, you and I are coming off of a full week off of work.
We took the last week of the year off. Didn't make videos, just hung out in town.
What was that like for you? Like, because this idea of this like staycation is, the older I get, the more I crave it, because the more I realize that the act of going on a vacation and like packing the car and like preparing for it and going and buying like all the necessary like groceries for the trip, or like any fun things you want to get, like new outfits or whatever the case may be, like by the time you actually go and do vacation up and then like get home, you do need like that vacation from the vacation where you just want to like, it's like, I'd love to just sit on my couch.
Right. There's a lot of pressure to go out and do stuff on vacation. So yeah, you do need sort of that like day or two when you're back to be like, okay, I need to have no pressure, nothing right now.
No pressure, nothing.
I felt a lot of pressure to do nothing on vacation, but now that I'm home, I can do nothing with no pressure.
No pressure, nothing?
Exactly.
Okay, interesting.
So yeah, it was a good week. I would say the interesting thing is that because of COVID, the problem is we couldn't really go do a lot of stuff. And you could arguably still go do like outdoors stuff, and like bring the kids or something to go do outdoor stuff, except that it was also really cold a lot of the days.
It was.
So instead, we ended up, there was, I think like a 4-day period where it was like all me and Beth and Luke and Nick and Nate were just like in the house.
Wow.
Yeah, just like, okay, you could tell it was like a real, like this was like a thing happening all across Roanoke where we were, because on I think Thursday at long last the temperature rose to like 65 miraculously or something.
Miraculously.
Like, very nice. And there we went to like the playground, and I think I ran into like 5 other people I knew at the playground
who just like also brought their kids there.
And everyone had the same story of just like, oh man, we've been inside, we haven't been able to leave, like we had to come out today,
gotta go do something.
Yeah Gotta go do something. So that was that particular trip was really good. But it was this weird situation where I think you'd think you'd have like no, I don't know. So when I get home from work, there's this period of time where it's like, okay, I'm home, I can watch the kids. Now Beth can go do something. Like if she needs to go like get a workout in or something on the Peloton, and then we eat dinner, and then there's like play with kids time, then it's like bed, bath, leisure time.
Sure.
And so it was just sort of felt like that section of the day just like got extended from, instead of being from like between 5 and 8, it was more like from like 8 to 8.
Just like the whole day.
Just like the whole day is just sort of like, okay, you're here to watch the kids, so now I can go do something. And it's like, okay, now you did something, so I'm going to go do this thing now. But like someone always has to be watching the kids. So it's hard for me and Beth to even just go do something on our own.
That's understandable.
Yeah.
And
then, it's like if everyone's down for sleep at the same time, you're like, oh, we finally have a minute to just sit here and do nothing. And then you don't do anything and you can't go anywhere.
Okay, but here's my question for you, though, in that situation. Do you savor the ability to do nothing? Like, is there any part of you that is like, it's like the boys have been washed, they have been fed, they have clean diapers, they're in their cribs, like, down for the night. We can sit here and, like, doing nothing is doing something. It is the activity of doing nothing.
Yeah, oh, yeah, believe me, that happens every night.
Okay, and, like, but is that something, though, where you're just like, oh, yes, bask in the glory that is this moment?
Absolutely, it is. Yeah,
okay.
I mean, I love getting home and like seeing the kids and playing with everyone, but there is totally that moment where the twins are down and Luke is down, and you come downstairs and you're like, okay, all the bottles are done, all the dishes are done. Sit. It's like, we've arrived.
Okay.
We can relax.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. So the interesting thing about this for me is that I've always struggled with this, but I struggle really hard with like downtime, because there's always this feeling of like I'm doing nothing, and technically there's no pressing obligation. Like I am not letting anyone down right now by doing nothing. Yeah. But like if I were to be completely honest with myself, it's like technically I could go and like organize my home office, or technically I could go and like finish that last load of laundry. Like it's not like there aren't things that I can be doing, but it's like I'm choosing to do nothing.
Yeah.
But then because I think especially this past week, this was like the dilemma I was struggling with, and I actually was like almost in envy of your scarcity of free time so that you could enjoy your nothing time to its absolute fullest. Mm-hmm. It was almost like I had a whole lot of time at my disposal all of a sudden, and it was like, you know what? It's nice that like I can just sit here and do nothing. But then I felt guilty about the nothingness,
right,
which was part of the problem. And so I've wondered about it before, because I've actually felt very similar about money in this regard, like scarcity or surplus of, where back when I first graduated from college, I was doing my aquarium company, and believe it or not, there's not a whole lot of money in aquariums. And
not in Roanoke anyway.
Not in Roanoke anyway. Yeah, like small market, extreme luxury product, one-man band. My briefcase was a 5-gallon bucket.
Right.
And the thing was that I was making such little money at the time that it was like there was no such thing as like excess. Like I remember going to the grocery store and like specifically knowing like, okay, I have $33 to grocery shop with.
Right.
And like as I was like picking up like my items, it would be like I would be like doing like the dollar count and like a like tax calculation in my head.
Right.
Where it was like, okay, so like, every $20 spent, we're probably looking at an extra like $1 of tax, like
right,
needing to like keep track of like what I was going to do in order to keep within my like $33 budget. And so like, I mean, as a result of having that limited resource, it meant that I was very typically careful, and I wasn't buying like a whole lot of, excess of anything, because there was nothing available to shop excess with.
Right.
But like, I was almost free of the, like, of, this is going to sound weird to call it like a burden of responsibility maybe, but like, it was like I didn't have enough money to be like realistically saving money in a like effective manner maybe, so I never felt guilty for not doing it, because it was like really there wasn't anything to put away. Does that make sense?
Like you didn't feel guilty for not saving because you felt like it would have been such a small amount?
Well, just because like it was like my living expenses, just covering all of the basics, we're pretty much using up all of that money.
Right.
So like to be honest with you, yeah, like I was not struggling with the fact that I was not putting like $10 into a savings account just to be doing it.
Right.
Because it was like, that $10 is probably not gonna make or break anything at any point in time. And so then I feel like as I got older, it was kind of the type of thing where it's like, now I have more money at my disposal, but I also feel like a greater sense of responsibility to that money, to making sure that I'm like now using it properly, and I need to be like allocating it in accordance and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So similarly with time, as you could apply it back, it's almost like, oh, this past week I had so much available time that it felt I had that same guilt applied to the situation. It was like I have enough of it, strangely, for this 1 week that I need to be as careful with it as humanly possible. I need to know that I'm being responsible with each of these minutes as if they are dollars.
I see.
To compare analogies.
So did you get a lot done then?
I felt like,
because the difference is either whether you are doing something or not, the time is being spent.
Right.
Right. Whereas the money, whether you buy something or not, the dollars are or are not spent.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point. That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
I would say that I got a lot done, but there were also moments like, I remember, so I got this, my absolute favorite Christmas gift was this, it's called a kindling cracker.
Oh, yeah.
And it's this like, it's like cast iron. It's like a hoop with like an upside down axe inside of it so that you can like place a log on top of it and whack it with a mallet, and
everything comes back to
splitting wood.
Splitting wood with you.
Splitting wood. And so like, you know, I went outside on several occasions over our break, and I would just like sit out there and I would like, you know, hammer down a bunch of wood into kindling that I could then use like for my fire pits and stuff. And this was one of those activities where, one, I posted like an Instagram story where it was me like breaking a piece down, and a whole bunch of people messaged me and they were like, oh my God, are you totally in heaven? Like, is it as good as you thought it was going to be? Like, you always daydream about like splitting wood. Like, you know,
yeah.
Did it live up to the hype? The answer is yes.
Oh, yeah.
It absolutely did.
Yeah.
Like, it was a really, really, really fun way for me to go and do something that, like, my house doesn't run, I don't even have a wood stove. Like, I have, like, an oil furnace.
Yeah, you just got a few fire pits.
Yeah, so the fire pits for me are pure leisure. But this was, like, one of those rare occasions in my life where I was able to, like, go outside, and I was doing something that felt very productive towards my hobbies.
Yeah.
You know, but it was like, well, this is good. It's like I'm outside, splitting wood. I'm going to be able to use this wood later. I'm just enjoying the process. It's very like methodical. You have like that pile of like finished product that you can like pick up and clink together in this spectacular, like, it makes such great noise.
Yeah.
The wood like crackling into itself. I just love wood, man. I don't even know how to describe it. But so I did that on several occasions.
Okay.
Where I would go outside and spend, where I was like, maybe I'll just go outside and like I'll just split a log just for fun. Like, that'll be cool. Like, I can go do that. And I went out and spent like, I had my headphones on. I was listening to Name of the Wind, and I would just sit out there, of course, because I always am. And I would just sit out there for like 2 hours, just splitting logs. It was so good.
That does sound very fun. I ran into the situation where it was a week off for me. Meaning, you know, I was at home and didn't have to go to work or anything.
Oh, I know where this is going.
Yeah, but for Beth, this is just how her week is every week.
This is just her life, typically.
This is just her life.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's like, it's not really, the only difference is that now I'm there the whole time.
Right.
So, part of me, like, in my mind, I was like, I cannot wait for this week because I'm going to have so much time to get little projects around the house done.
Right.
Like, I won't have to be at work. But the difference is that, like, what makes it vacation for Beth is, like, me being able to spend time with her.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm not doing that, then it's just a regular week for her. So it's not really different. So then you run into this weird situation where it's like, okay, well, I mean, I'll just hang out with you and the kids, but then nothing really gets done. So then, you know, that was a struggle I was having last week.
Understood.
I was like, in my mind, I was going to have all this free time. But actually, I don't, even though I have nothing to do.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. Were there any specific tasks that you were like, okay, I'm going to do this during my time off, and that like you couldn't get to?
Oh.
Or that you did get to, even better?
Oh, man. Yeah, let's see. The number one task I did not get to is there is a shelf in our closet that, like, at this point, months ago, I don't know what happened. Maybe it was like the straw that broke the camel's back, but like just hung one hanger on it and it just decided nope, and it just fell right off the wall.
Okay.
And I have to tell you, I say it fell off the wall, like one of the supports failed, and so it's like semi-adhered to the wall, but it's not functioning as a shelf. And we had the replacement shelf.
Okay.
And it's just like, obviously, it's almost the exact same shelf. So the only real difference would be that you can't put it back in the exact same holes because now they're ruined. Yeah. So it's not really going to be that hard, but it involves, a lot of like cleaning a lot of space out of the closet to make the room and then just taking down the old shelf and putting the new one up. It's like, it's not really that hard or anything, but I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And I did not.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
I get it completely though. I have to tell you a very quick anecdote about a just total like motel art that we have in our bedroom.
Okay.
So I will tell you this. Forever, like as a kid, I feel like your bedroom is your place of like self-expression. So you might
I did not feel that way as a kid.
No? Okay. Well, anyway.
I think we've talked about this before because our mother was like so anti putting stuff on the walls. Do you remember this?
Actually, we did talk about this, and I feel like Mom has since talked to me about it and said she didn't remember ever actually having opposition, I think, to putting things on the walls.
That is a false memory, Mom. There was absolutely like a no way, especially like you'd like watch movies and be like, look at this kid, they got all this stuff on the wall. Like the whole room just like looks so cool. They got all their favorite things or whatever.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Not
even, I feel like it was like, you don't even think about wanting a poster because it's not going to happen.
I feel like I had posters in my room. I had a Steve Prefontaine poster above my aquarium.
Yeah, that was like one good.
One good.
They
I also
absolutely
had an aquarium.
to be framed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but the aquariums aren't on the wall.
They're not on the wall, but they're in the room.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an expression of self.
This is. I was. I had like. I would arrange the stuff on top of my dresser in a way that was like the extent of which I felt I was able to. Like,
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Well, anyway, it doesn't matter. I mean, your childhood trauma aside.
Yeah.
Not getting to express yourself via room.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. But so, okay, the reason I bring it up, though, is that since being an adult, my bedroom has basically been barren, like almost embarrassingly so for my entire adult life.
Right, okay.
Like, to the point where I think it literally at one point in time, like when we started like Super Carlin Brothers together, my bedroom was it was like a mattress on just like a frame, like it wasn't like a bed. It was just like it was not a mattress on the floor, but barely one step above that.
Right.
My chest of drawers was literally like one of those plastic organizers from like Walmart. It was blue and it had 3 drawers.
Yeah.
Basically nothing in it. And like that was like it. I had like
bedroom.
I had like curtains, I think, that were like blackout curtains, and so nothing at all. A closet that was overflowing with laundry. That whatever. That was my decor.
Yeah.
And as such, since then, like my bedroom has never been an expression of myself. And so like even now, if you walk in, I do have a bed. We had a rug. We got rid of it.
You got rid of the rug?
We got rid of the rug.
What was wrong with the rug?
I hated the rug.
Oh.
It was like this rug where it was like really, really nice. And then as soon as you started walking on it, like the tread marks through it, they never went away. And like, that's all I could ever see. It got dirty. I would shampoo it and it would never get clean. Mm-hmm. It was always such a problem. I hated it. And we have like a king size bed, and there's not enough room in my room to move the king size bed far enough away from the rug to where you could like really like have the rug situated nicely and then like move the bed back on top of it. Like there's the bedroom is not big enough. It's not 2 king size beds wide.
Yeah, that was my immediate thought when you said to get rid of the rug, was like, that sounds real. That sounds like a nightmare trying to remove the rug from under your bed.
Oh yeah, we got rid of the bed too.
Oh, we got rid of the bed.
Yeah. So new bed, bed. Yeah. Then I got rid of the rug with it. And so otherwise I have a floor to ceiling mirror.
Okay.
Like one of those ones like that like leans against the wall a little bit, kind of casual like for like a hashtag OOTD outfit of the day.
Right.
Type of posts.
This is that very phenomenon, not outfit of the day, the leaning against the wall of the mirror. This, to me, it did not occur to me that people were doing that intentionally, like that was like a look.
Oh, interesting.
To me, it was just like I think Beth would even say like we can just like lean it against the wall, and I'd be like, no.
It needs to be mounted
why would
to
we?
the wall.
Why would we just get that close? Why would we go out and get a mirror and then just lean it when we?
I like the lean look. It reminds me of like a New York City like loft apartment. You know, like
they would not waste floor space with that, man.
Well, maybe not, but anyway, that's just sort of what I was going for.
Okay.
I have 3 drawers. Now they've been upgraded from plastic to IKEA.
Oh, okay.
So, fake wood.
Yeah. Room to grow.
Room to grow. TV sits on top of that, and that's it. And so once upon a time, we bought like from TJ Maxx. It's like motel art. It's like a painting on canvas. And
that's all I could say about it.
But that's all I could say. It's not like an image of anything. It's just like aesthetically pleasing, I guess.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't like look at it and like get lost in it, like Cameron from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, where he's like staring at the piece of art and he like, just can't break away.
Right.
It's not like that at all. And so like when we got it, we were like, okay, this will be great. We'll use like these command strips and we'll like mount it to the wall because it's actually very light. It's literally just a piece of canvas. And it was there for a year and a half until like one night it just falls off the wall.
Oh no.
Middle of the night. And it's just like, unexpectedly loud.
That is the worst.
Yes.
Yeah, we have a bathtub that we give the twins baths in. Only problem is no matter how many times we've used this, it does not want, it's like a very like oblong weird oval shape, and there's no comfortable way for it to like lean against the wall.
Okay.
And on like several occasions you'll like lean it up, and in the middle of the night it'll finally like reach some weird tipping point where it'll be like whoop, and you're like, what was that?
Right.
Like, what was that giant noise downstairs all of a sudden? You're like, okay, I'm awake.
Have I told you that I have like legit paranoia, like break-in paranoia? Like if I hear like a noise at night, I'm terrified someone's breaking into my house.
Yeah.
I feel like it was a concern that I had as a little kid that just never went away.
Okay.
I'm still just, So if I heard that noise, just similar to like when this painting fell off the wall, I'm like, oh man,
it's go time.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Find something heavy, a club. Mm-hmm. The painting fell off the wall. At which time I was like, okay, well, it's just going to lean against the wall for the next 6 months. And so finally, the day came. So similar to like your shelf where it's not that hard, but I was going to actually like mount it to the wall, like with like screws and stuff.
Yeah.
And at my house we have, not sheetrock. What is it called? Like plaster walls.
Yeah.
So almost anything you want to hang up, you have to like hang up like with anchors and stuff.
Right.
It's just like too brittle to like withstand anything else. A screw would just like spin out in it. So I needed to like go up there and like do the whole thing and like measure everything and make sure it's level, because you're gonna like put these 2 big holes in the wall and then put anchors in the holes and then screws in the anchors and then mount the thing to that. And so I think Alice was at work and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go do this. I'm gonna go set it up. I'm gonna go hang it. And I remember getting in there and all of my tools have been in the basement. I'm on the 2nd floor of my house, so like 3 floors up. And I was like, oh man, I forgot my tape measure. I was like, it's fine. It's a small space. It's a big rectangle. I can eyeball making this.
Oh no!
I like making it centered.
Put holes in the wall.
I'm gonna put holes in the wall, and like literally, it was like I got so far as to have all my tools up there to do it, and was unwilling to go and get my tape measure just to make sure I was like hanging it in just the right spot.
Yeah.
And so like I'm eyeballing this, Jay, and I miss it by like. Like, by so much.
Yeah.
It is so horrifically, comically not centered or like even remotely in the right place on the wall. It's like high. It's way too high into the... it's so bad. It is so bad.
Is it still wrong?
It's still wrong. It's still wrong. Alice came home and she was trying so hard to be like proud of me for like taking the time.
Look,
She's
she did it. It's not on the floor anymore.
It's on the floor, but it's so badly hung. Man. It's level. I can give you that it's level.
You eyeballed it level, or did you have a level?
I did have a level.
Okay.
I did have a level, but it was not also a measuring device.
Embarrassing. Me and Beth have this problem where anytime we go to hang something on the wall, like I will go to hold it up against the wall and be like, is here good? And she'd be like, it's kind of high. And I'll be like, what do you mean? Like, I'm like, it's like at eye level. To me, it's at eye level. It's like, I would want to walk past and look over. But she's like a foot shorter than me.
Right.
So everything's either like, whenever she wants something to go on, either looks like I have to look down at it or she has to look up at it. So we have this weird problem. The solution, one solution we found was we recently put up a gallery wall. We had all these great pictures taken during the fall.
And you put all the pictures of you up top.
Well, that was its own determination of like which pictures should go where. But we were making a 3x3 grid, so we had 9 total framed photos.
Good math.
Yeah, thank you. And it was this. They all had wire hangers on the back.
Oh dear.
Ugh. Yeah, I think maybe you at home know where I'm going with this. When you're trying to make a grid where everything lines up just perfectly, which is part of the aesthetic you're going for.
Right, especially if you're gonna have everything in order, then it needs to be in order because anything that's like slightly off looks super off.
Right. Yes. Because one thing being off, depending on which piece of the grid it is, means up to 9 things are off or as little as 4 things are off.
Sure.
But no matter what, a single mistake, huge problem. So I'm like, fortunately, wherever we ordered this place, the frames from, they did a very good, consistent job with the wiring. But it was this terrible process of like thinking, can I just put all 3 nails in a row?
Right. Like in a perfect world, that would be the exact case.
Right.
Just draw a level line.
Draw a level line. Measure equally apart.
Right.
Put the nails in, hang it, they're just right.
Yep.
But of course, the wires, even if the wire has like a minutely little bit of different like tightness, it'll like hang higher or lower based on like how taut the wire is on the back.
Right.
Which could which affects everything. But we made it. It took a lot of finagling.
It's perfect.
It's perfect. And the great news is that it takes up like a huge section of the wall. So like it is both like I've got like some photos down like by my knees and some that are like above my head. So it's a real big feature.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't wait to come over and see it.
Yeah. Have you not seen it?
I don't think I have.
Maybe not. Well, that's where I like it. It's quite nice.
Yeah, well that's exciting. That's very exciting.
Yeah. Okay, Ben, question for you.
Okay, lay it on me.
Did you watch any sports over the break?
I'm trying to think if there's something hilarious that I could be like, does Schitt's Creek count as sports?
Almost absolutely not.
Well, almost though. But go ahead. Either way, I'm with you. No, I did not. I think I've described it on the pot before. I have struggled with sports this year for some reason.
Yeah.
I have found it difficult to be invested.
Okay.
But go right ahead.
I need you to weigh in on a situation.
Weighing in.
I need to know what was correct. What is Ben Carlin's correct path in this situation?
Big question.
Yes, right? Okay, so last night was the final regular season game of the NFL season.
Okay.
And it was the Washington football team versus the Philadelphia Eagles Sunday night prime time.
That's like big rivals.
Big rivals.
Both NFC East.
Both NFC East, and they do this. The last game of the season is typically a rival game within your division so that you can
keep people interested all the way
You
up
can keep people interested because there's probably playoff implications, which there were.
Exciting.
Okay. So not only did the Washington football team play the Philadelphia Eagles, but the Dallas Cowboys played the New York Giants. Those are the other 2 members of the division.
Okay.
And so the way the season is played out, the situation was this, that Washington, if they won their game, went to the playoffs.
No matter what.
No matter what.
Okay.
They were in control of their destiny.
Plain and simple. Love that.
Exactly. That's good. The Giants and the Cowboys, however, their destiny was basically also being controlled by Washington.
Okay.
If Washington lost, the winner of their game would go to the playoffs instead.
Okay.
Right. So the Giants win the game there. So now they're rooting against
the
Washington football team so that they can advance.
Okay, I'm with you.
I will also say that on top of all this, the NFC East, that's the division of football they're in, is the worst, has performed worse than any division in the history of the NFL, I believe.
Wow.
Collectively. Like, this is historically the worst division record, I think, collectively. If I'm reading it, if the headlines are right, it's possible. Not that they've all individually got, like, the worst records ever.
Right, but like, so basically the way the NFL works is there are 32 teams, and it's broken into 8 divisions of 4 teams.
Yeah.
Inside of each division.
Yeah.
So it must be the case that the collective win total of the NFC East is the lowest in history.
Yes.
Is what I would guess. So,
right.
Like, it may be the case that, yeah, okay, I'm with you.
So what this creates is this weird situation where, no, like, if Washington wins and advances, no matter who advances to the playoffs, because every division gets to send a team to the playoff regardless of how bad your records are.
Right. This is frequently how, like, a team with a really low record could sneak its way in versus, like, a really strong division.
Yeah.
Might have a team with, like, 9 wins that doesn't go, and then, like, Washington could have a losing record but still go.
Yeah, so it's pretty rare for a team to have a losing record but go to the playoffs. But the way the NFC East was set up this year, no matter who went, even if it was the division leader, they would have a losing record no matter what.
Okay.
So that's the situation we have going into Sunday night.
Okay.
The Giants have won. The Eagles can spoil it for Washington. The Eagles can send the Giants to the playoffs.
But the Eagles can't send the Eagles to the playoffs.
The Eagles have no implications. They're at the bottom of the division. Nothing matters to them.
Okay.
They don't care. So if you're a Giants fan, you really want the Eagles to win.
Okay.
Because now your 6-win Giants somehow got to the playoffs.
Got it.
So anyway.
You're painting the picture so spectacularly.
Okay, I just want people to be able to keep track of, like, the moving parts here.
No, I think it's good. I think even if we were talking about, like, a completely made up sport, I think we're doing a great job of illustrating.
Okay, so what happens is this: that in the at the beginning of the fourth quarter, Washington is winning 17-14, and Philadelphia inexplicably pulls their starting quarterback. Not injured or anything. Okay. They just bench him. And put instead their third string quarterback in for the rest of the game.
Okay.
Really, if in terms of competitiveness, they may as well have put in, like, a prepubescent high schooler or something. I mean, this guy did nothing.
Nothing.
I mean, and to say nothing would have been better. I mean,
like, he did bad, actively bad.
I mean, 2 interceptions, fumble, sacked several times. Very not good.
Okay, and the other thing, too, to keep in mind is that Philadelphia has no, like, all they can do is determine the future of the Giants. They have no ability to actually do anything themselves.
Right.
So, like, this is not even, like, the future makings of some incredible underdog story where you've got, like, the 6-win Eagles put in their third-string quarterback at the end of the fourth quarter just to, like, maybe the power of the underdog will come through and it'll charge them into the playoffs, and somehow, some way, this ragtag team of, you know, whoever's will make it to the Super Bowl, and like, it's going to be, what a decision to put him in. So there's not even, that storyline doesn't even exist.
No, it's such a bad move, especially considering this. The Eagles have 14 points. Both of their touchdowns were scored by their quarterback rushing the ball in himself.
Okay.
The guy named Jalen Hurts, that's the guy who gets benched.
Okay.
At the start of the fourth quarter, doesn't come back in, watches third string quarterback go out there and just get wrecked.
Okay.
I mean, because the thing about Jalen Hurts is he's a very mobile quarterback. He can escape stuff.
Okay.
Other guy, not mobile. Washington knows this. They rush every time. They're knocking him down no matter what.
Okay.
And I mean, the Washington defense is actually pretty good despite their really bad record.
Okay.
Anyway, not the point. The point is, it's a 3-point game in the fourth quarter, and Philadelphia basically just decides to throw it. They just throw the game entirely. And so if you're a New York Giants fan, you're watching, you're like, why are you doing this? What's going on? Even if you're an Eagles fan, you're like, what's going on? This is not like, it's not like you're down 20 points, go ahead and get the guy some snaps.
Exactly.
We can't win.
Right.
You know, it's a 3-point game. It's competitive.
Right.
It's close. What are you doing? Why are you throwing the game? Like, and the answer is because Philly can't play for anything for themselves. They don't care what happens to the Giants. They don't care what happens to Washington. But if they lose, they get the 6th overall pick in the draft. Whereas if they win, they get the 9th overall pick in the draft.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
So we're already looking at next year.
So exactly. Okay. So the question is, so this is absolutely what they were doing. Their coach after the fact was like, I was playing to win. He's been on the team for 4 years and I thought he deserved some snaps. And it was like, no, you weren't. Like Philadelphia absolutely threw the game because they don't, and the Giants are furious. They're like, why would you do that? Like,
right.
You could, you must play to win. You must play to win. Always play to win. Always be competitive. This is of course the attitude you'll run into from every sportscaster, every player ever. Well, they're never going to be able to answer the question. I think we made the right call in throwing the game. Like you can't say that.
It's not an acceptable scenario for anyone to speak out loud. Like everybody may know that that's exactly what happened, but nobody's ever going to acknowledge
No one's allowed to say it, but that's what happened. Right. Philadelphia threw the game to get a better draft pick because they don't care what happens to the Giants. The Giants can be mad at them, but so number one, if you're a Giants fan who's like screaming at Philadelphia, I think it's not Philadelphia's job to get you to the playoffs, win more than 6 games.
Sure.
The question for you though is, did Philadelphia do the right thing, or should they have played hard throughout?
Oh, what a dilemma.
Should your approach always be always play to win, or did they make the right call in saying we have nothing to lose, but by losing we actually gain?
It's interesting because I feel like I have like such two schools of thought with it. Like there's me as like an individual. It's like I'm happy to lose the battle, win the war.
Right.
Like if I have to lose today in order to make my life better later, then fine.
Right.
I would make that decision 100 times in a row. Mm-hmm. Like if that was the case. Like I would always make it the case that my future self was in better shape than sacrificing future self for the benefit of today's self.
Right.
In the moment self. Mm-hmm. So if it was me as a person and I was just making a decision, then I would say like, honestly, it's better for us to do this, suffer today, which in my mind I would see losing as suffering.
Yeah.
In order to get that benefit later. As a competitor,
right,
it's a very different story.
Yeah.
Because I do feel like there is that sort of like almost sacred holiness to the sport.
Yeah.
To try to be competitive.
Like you have to be competitive, right? Like this is your whole job.
It would never occur to me to like not be aiming to win.
Right.
Especially if it just was like, oh, but this will help me later.
Yeah. Now see, now you could argue that if you're Philadelphia, look, we have nothing to gain either way. Let's go ahead and bench our starter because even if we win, so what? Right. Doesn't help. Why put anyone at risk of injury?
Okay, so let me counter with this, because that's a very good question. And this is a common thing that we see happen too. So let's say, like, we've been New England Patriots fans. Our dad grew up in like the area, and he was a New England fan. So kind of growing up, it was like we were by proximity Washington fans, and by familial ties New England fans.
Yeah.
Being a New England fan means that we've witnessed this very phenomenon happen quite a few times, which was they clinched the ability to go to the playoffs with 3 games left in the season.
Oh, right. So yes, this was going to be my counter argument. If you flip the script,
right.
Let's say the Eagles are 13-3. They've clinched the division.
Right.
3 weeks ago.
They have a first round bye.
They have a first round bye, whatever, no problem. And the situation is such that if Washington defeats the Eagles, they get to go to the playoffs. Or if they lose, the Giants will pick up the wild card spot or something.
Right.
So in that situation, you might see the Eagles be like, we're not going to play our starters. Are you crazy? We're going to save them for the playoffs. Exactly. And no one would bat an eye.
Nobody yet.
Except right. New York, who would then be really upset if Washington got a free win.
You're exactly right.
Right.
Yeah. And we've even run into this problem. We have like a group of local people we play fantasy football with, and we make it so that the season is over before the last couple weeks of the season, specifically because you could have one of the hottest players in the league, and if they find themselves in that position where they're not being played the last 2 games of the season to like save them for the playoffs, you could you could lose the finish line because the player who's been killing it for you all season doesn't even go in.
Right.
And it's like, well, that doesn't really seem like the right way to do it. So, okay, I get you. I think it's okay that they put in the 3rd string quarterback to lose. Because I think you would do it also I think it's a decision that could be made through a position of strength as well as this position of weakness.
Okay. So you think totally okay that they threw the game?
I think it's totally okay.
All right. Okay. Interesting weigh-in. I would love to know what other people think about the situation, whether or not you watch football.
No, and that's the thing. It has nothing to do with football.
Yeah, it was just like a really interesting situation because there's like a lot of like politics at play.
There are.
You know.
And this is the thing about football too that I feel like so frequently is the case. Football is a soap opera. Like, do not let anybody mistake you into believing that what they're watching. I mean, it is sports. Don't get me wrong, but like the soap opera that is the unscripted, unbelievably dramatic show of the football season that's what people buy into.
Oh yeah.
Those are the narratives, those are the storylines. That's the reason people get so passionate.
Oh yeah.
Because you've got moments where again Tom Brady is back in, Foxborough for playing against the Patriots in their home. And
while we're here, let me tell you about some fun stats about our the Washington football team.
Okay.
Who are about to walk into the playoffs with their losing record.
Yeah.
Only the 3rd team in the last 10 years to make it to the playoffs with a losing record. Pretty impressive.
This could be their year.
This could be. Here's the thing. Okay, first of all, let me just say, as unlikely as it is, they are in the playoffs. If the Washington football team wins the Super Bowl, which they won't, I 1,000% think they never change the name.
They'll never change the name.
Which
the name. I personally think would be incredible.
Me too.
Like it's so funny because this is almost like it's almost like trying to end like a TV show that's gone on for too long, like the TV show Lost.
Yeah.
At some point in time, the mystery got so big that the answer was going to suck no matter what.
Right. No, there was no satisfying answer.
There was no satisfying answer left. And I feel like the exact same thing happened with Washington, where it was like they needed to change their name. There's no doubt about it. They needed to change their name. It happened way too late that they finally did. And then what they did was just have no name.
Right.
They just called them the Washington football team.
A team has no name.
And it was kind of like, at first it was like, well, that's a little bit like really? Like you're not going to pick something? But now it's almost like it's better this way.
It's better this way.
Don't ever pick something because whatever you pick will not be good enough.
Yes.
And there's no profound answer out there. There's nothing that anybody hasn't already thought of. Unless you're going to call them I don't know, what's something incredibly random?
Oh, yeah, if you just go way off the walls.
The Washington Coyotes.
Oh, the Washington. Actually, the name I have been hoping for is the Washington Red Wolves.
Ooh,
it's pretty good.
Not
exactly.
Far from Coyotes.
Exactly.
Ayo.
Actually, my favorite animal in the world to talk to Luke about is wolves. Because I'll just ask him, what sound does a wolf make? And he'll go, oh.
No, we will not.
I love it. It's so fun. But anyway, let me bring you back to some fun Washington football stats as we head into next. As people are listening to this, if you want to tune into the drama of the NFL, Saturday, the Washington football team will be playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Washington, playing against Tom Brady. So here's some fun things to be aware of. The last 2 teams that made it to the playoffs with a losing record are the 2010 Seattle Seahawks and the 2016 Carolina Panthers.
Okay, I remember that one.
Both of those teams won the first game of the playoffs.
No way.
Despite entering with a losing record.
Okay. Underdog advantage, I understand.
Underdog advantage. Amazing. Tom Brady, who is the current quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who Washington will be playing against, is a good 1-3 against the NFC East in the playoffs.
Okay.
Yep. Pretty good. So that bodes well. That bodes well. The last time Washington won a playoff game at all was in 2005. And
it was not.
And they were playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
What?
Fantastic. Great news for Washington.
The best.
Lots of good fun things coming to a head here. And this is another fun one. The Carolina Panthers, we just mentioned, the last team to make it to the playoffs with a losing record. They were coached by Ron Rivera, current head coach of the Washington Reds football team. Sorry.
Good save.
Almost blundered that one. So that feels exciting. And the following season, after Carolina won their single playoff game before getting eliminated, the following season they went 15-1 and made it to the Super Bowl. So lots of very fun potential things happening. And if you want, you mentioned earlier, like was this like a story where Philly put in the quarterback and had some crazy scrappy, can't believe they pulled it out. If you want a team that has been pulling it out, it has been the Washington football team this year.
Okay.
Ron Rivera has gone through 8 weeks of chemo during the season, during which he's only missed 3 days of practice.
Holy
That's cow. The head coach. That's insane. Alex Smith, who was a first-round draft pick, first overall pick by the 49ers when he got drafted out of college, got replaced by Colin Kaepernick in San Francisco, where he got traded to Kansas City. Did amazing there until he was replaced by Patrick Mahomes, who just won the Super Bowl last year. And now he's in Washington, where he was injured so badly they thought they were going to have to amputate his leg.
Yep.
Came back 2 years later as the third-string quarterback, got put in this year and took the team on a 5-game winning streak.
To make it to the playoffs. Cinderella story. Where's the glass slipper?
Oh my gosh, you can see it.
They should call them the Washington glass slippers.
The Washington Cinderellas. That's the Washington princesses. Let's go.
Washington Cinders.
There you go. Not bad. Also, their tight end, Logan Thomas, former Virginia Tech Hokie.
He was our starting quarterback.
He was the starting quarterback at Virginia Tech, got drafted into the NFL as a quarterback, couldn't cut it. For years, people were like, just make him a tight end, Washington was like, hey, Logan Thomas, come be our tight end. Been fantastic. Has 6 touchdowns on the season.
Wow.
Look at this. So many crazy stories have been coming out of Washington all year. So good team to watch tomorrow night. Even if you don't like football, it might be fun to watch.
For the 8 people who are
okay, now you're just gushing.
Yeah. You went so far off the rails.
So far. Right. I had so many fun football stats.
I'm so glad you didn't talk to me about any of all of this today, because I now that I'm hearing it all, I feel like it must have been like bursting.
Look, watching the game last night was an interesting experience as a Washington football fan, because despite the fact that Philly was throwing the game, it's like Washington managed to win in spite of the fact that Philadelphia was trying to let them, which is a sentence that only Washington fans will understand.
Yeah, I get that.
Because, look, let me tell you, it is pretty unusual that Washington held on to a very surmountable lead when their opponent was trying to let them win.
Right.
It's surprising that we won. I was like, okay, well, there's 16 seconds left and it's 4th down and they've got the ball and they've got 70 yards to go and they need a touchdown to win. So it just really feels like someone's about to break off an 80-yard run and ruin my night.
Yep.
And really, so that was like, I'm not turning this off until the clock says 0.
Until it's over. It's over.
I've been burned before.
I've been burned. I know. Being a Virginia Tech fan and a Washington fan is not always the best.
So anyway, there we go.
There you go. All right. Well, we might just have to make a hard left turn here.
Okay. Out of
Washington.
Sports moral dilemmas.
And into the woods for a fun fact about coyotes. I had brought up this fun fact a couple weeks ago, or I had written it in the notes, and then I think we forgot to touch on a fun fact.
Okay.
So this fun fact is actually not such a fun fact for the coyotes themselves, because donkeys and llamas hate coyotes.
What? How do people even know that?
How do people even know that? Because they intentionally, you may wonder, why someone might have a donkey in the herd when they're not that they're not useful creatures.
Yeah.
But one of the key reasons why you may have a donkey is specifically because they are very protective of the herd.
Oh.
And they will actually chase away coyotes.
Interesting.
And similarly, there are types of llamas that you would include in your herd.
That's interesting.
I know. I was like, llamas greater than coyotes?
They doesn't seem like they have nearly as many teeth.
It doesn't seem that way.
They're definitely not as sharp.
If anything, a llama seems like the type of thing you could have at a petting zoo, and a coyote seems like the last thing you should have at a petting zoo.
Yeah.
It's like, which makes me, but I love that it makes llamas kind of like, these kind of fearsome, lovable creatures.
Fearsome, lovable creatures.
Yeah.
Just like coyotes. Apparently.
Well, someone I think actually on the Reddit posted, a group of coyotes that were like allowed to like walk about PetSmart or something.
I think it was wolves.
Was it wolves? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, either way.
I don't know if it was a pack. I think it was like people who were somehow able to own wolves.
Oh, is that a thing?
I don't know.
Can you own wolves?
I don't. That was kind of my question. Like, are these wolves or just like really wolfish looking huskies or something?
Right. Good question. Yeah, I feel like I used to work with a guy in my early pet store days. And of course, this would probably be the group of people that might push the boundaries on what you're supposed to own.
Yeah.
Because they're people that probably like, find their way into interesting situations.
Kind of some Joe Exotic situation going on here.
Maybe. Here in Roanoke, Virginia. You never know.
You know what, though? That was what I learned from watching the show Tiger King is you never know.
You never know.
You don't know. Where were they? In like Oklahoma, right?
Maybe. I still haven't watched it.
Oh, really? Well, you really missed that chapter of quarantine, man.
I did. I sure did. But yeah, he always claimed that he owned a wolf as like their dog.
Well,
but like
I don't know. I don't know what about wolves in particular seems to be like particularly aggressive animals or something. I don't know if that's true. In my mind, wolves are particularly dangerous.
Well, it would seem that if you were out in wilderness and ran into one, that it would be a dangerous situation to be in.
Yeah.
But I think like anything, it's like if they have no reason to bother you, it doesn't seem like there are that many animals that are like mean in their nature. This is actually something about like fish. This was actually like people, and actually I think even you like to have a type of fish called an Oscar, which is like a South American cichlid that very frequently can be very fun because one, they get rather large, and two, they will eat other fish, which I guess can be interesting.
Fun to watch.
Yeah. But the thing about them is that they're not like mean. It's not like they're not like beating up other fish or anything like that. For any reason, they only eat other fish because that's their diet.
Right.
Fish
eat other fish.
Fish eat other fish. Like, so they're not eating fish like out of malice or like, I dislike you, therefore I eat you. They're just like, this is what I eat. This is my diet.
Right.
So,
hey, look, food.
Right. But every once in a while, there were fish that like would literally just bully the other fish specifically because they were mean.
Right.
They wanted the territory. They wanted the space.
Yeah.
And therefore, they would just attack other stuff. And I always thought that distinction, especially in nature, rather interesting.
I think there are like territory disputes amongst the land animals.
Explain.
For sure. I don't, this is bad because I don't have off the top of my head examples, but I think animals will mark their territory and they don't want
sure. Yeah, like llamas and donkeys.
Yeah, exactly. Or like even within the same species though, like you might have like a alpha, like one alpha male gets this much space.
Right, turf war.
Like turf war. Like I think like lions do this, don't they?
I believe so.
Yeah,
I believe so. Yeah, like who's the pride of the
right? Who's the Lion King?
The lion.
Right. Hey, you see that? I feel like the sun's touching that. That is mine. You're going to need to get out of here, other lion.
Go back to that elephant graveyard.
Go back over there.
Why are all the elephants dying in the same spot?
I know, yeah. Why? Yeah, did they have like funerals there? What's going on?
Maybe.
Elephant graveyard.
Seems like they should make it a little less grim.
Yeah, I know, right?
Turf disputes.
Yeah.
We're past it, right?
I guess.
We feel good.
Okay.
We can move on.
We can move on.
Okay.
What else you got?
What else I got is one of the things that we did during our week off was we rode the gauntlet.
Oh, yes. We went mountain bike riding.
We went mountain bike riding,
yeah.
You and I, and our friends Mike and Steven. And we did basically like within our area, the biggest, most aggressive downhill track.
Yeah.
I think you can do.
Yeah, so the way I understand most downhill bike riding is that like there are parks where the whole point is ride a chairlift with your bike to the top and then you get to do the fun part where you just ride downhill.
Right.
And go over whatever jumps or not that I say that as if I'm like catching air in any way.
Oh yeah, no, I've seen you catch air.
Yeah, maybe a few inches. Certainly not like flying off any jumps or anything. I'll tell you that. Not yet. But yeah, here in Roanoke we don't have any chairlifts. So if you want to go down the big stuff, you first then have to bike up the big stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought this was interesting though, because I have spent a couple of phases of my adult life being rather into mountain biking and like pretty aggressive about the sport, to where I was going like, to say aggressive, like I was riding like 3 to 4 times a week. So
sure,
like going as frequently as my schedule and recovery times would pretty much allow for it.
Yeah.
And through that, I had like sort of worked my way up to where I had ridden this particular trail a good handful of times and quite enjoyed it. I would say that you're getting very good at the sport very quickly. But this was your first time riding a double black diamond. What was it? Did you have any like fear, trepidation, worry,
not really,
concern?
No, I wasn't that concerned about going. Not really. I mean, I had heard you guys talk about it a lot, and like when we asked Dad if he wanted to come with us, he was like, "I'll pass."
Right.
And like there's no doubt about it. Like descending is like not my strong suit. At least not at the moment. Where I don't know. Maybe I still feel like I have enough experience, or maybe just not enough courage. Maybe I'm just like more quick to hit the brakes.
Sure.
At the moment, rather than just like plummet down even faster, especially though like on this particular trail, which is called Gauntlet. Any mountain bike trail, the first time you go down it, it would be very ill-advised to just go all out without any experience on that trail, because you don't know what's coming.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely correct. I mean, it's definitely one of those things where you want to like know what you're doing. You want to like get to know the twists and turns, drops, and all that. And so if everything's coming at you brand new, it's kind of like, okay, work our way through this,
right,
little by little, step by step.
Sure, then we know what to expect. The next time we come down, well, know a little bit more what to expect.
Exactly. Go tick faster.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was a really fun ride. I would do it again. I will say the thing that really caught me off was going up. And so the way it works is, if you haven't done it, or maybe at least the way this particular trail works is, you don't bike up Gauntlet itself. You go up a somewhat easier trail, at least in terms of like biking up it, called Trough.
Yep.
And I have to tell you, when the first ascent up Trough was the worst I've ever felt on a bike. And it was a really weird experience, because overall I would say I'm pretty good at climbing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Overall, and I wasn't really anticipating this being a problem, but it was probably about like, I don't know, like 45 degrees out, somewhere 42, somewhere low 40s. I don't know.
Oh, temperature
wise.
Yes.
Yeah. And so it was like cold out, and you're in the woods, so there's like extra shade, and I've never really gone too much riding in the cold, but I'd gotten a brand new jacket for Christmas for mountain biking, and I was like, oh, no problem, I'll just wear my jacket. And so I had that on, and I was wearing pants for the first time riding, so some like old climbing pants put on. I was like, okay, we'll just, keep warm. Don't want to be too cold.
Right.
That'd be bad. Well, that was not the problem at all. The problem was, one, that you just basically started from the parking lot and immediately start cranking uphill. And two, all the extra clothing heat up real fast.
So fast.
I couldn't believe it. Like I literally felt nauseous. Like I was like, I'm going to have to go down. Like, I'm not even going to make it. I'm like pushing. What is this? Right. No.
Right.
Embarrassing. I mean, it was like, I was like, that's the other part. Like, not only are you like feeling bad, but then you're like feeling embarrassed. Like, oh God. And I'm like, just before we left, Beth had brought me this like Korean barbecue bowl of food. I was like, oh yeah, that'd be fine. I'll have like an hour to digest before we go on the trails. Oh, I could feel it. It was like, ugh.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. On that note, so I had been trying to finish moving out of our current office that same morning. So I'd like gotten up and like went down to the, grab up the last like batch of things. And because I was like doing some heavy lifting and like all the whatever, I was like, I'm going to go get like some biscuits and a cinnamon roll.
Yeah.
So I had like all I'd eaten that day was 2 biscuits, like bacon, egg, and cheese biscuits, and this massive cinnamon roll. And I'm like immediately in the cold, going up this hill, overheating, about to puke.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why? Why
did I eat that?
Like 3,000 calories of just pure salt or sweet bread.
Well, typically when we go on a ride, I don't feel that bad about like eating a bunch of calories as like fuel.
Sure.
And I try and make sure I give myself like plenty of lead time to like let the food really settle or just be like, not have just eaten.
Sure.
But what was really interesting about this particular ride was that first ascent up trough, like it felt like it almost killed me. Like I felt like I was staggered to the top, and I had to like take my jacket off, and then I'm riding around in like short sleeves, which is like getting real cold real fast because now you're like covered in sweat and the temperature's dropping because it's getting later in the day.
Right.
So we bike up to Gauntlet or whatever, and then I put the jacket back on, we go down Gauntlet, and then I didn't know about this ahead of time, but our friend Steven was like, all right, who's ready to go back up trough to go do it again? And I was like, hilarious. What are we doing next? And it was like, that's what we're doing next. And I was like, oh God. Like,
it was like, I'm not doing this again for like 2 months.
Yeah.
I have to do it again right now.
Yeah. I was like, oh, you mean in 5 minutes? It was so weird because in the moment I was like, I don't even know if I can. Like, you're going to make me do that again?
Right.
And the weird thing was though, that the second time up, no problem.
Total breeze.
Total breeze. Yeah. Like I mean, didn't have to get off. We stopped because, we're waiting for other people to get up, but it was like the difference, one being like warmed up, and I think the temperature dropping, so that the jacket was appropriate.
Sure.
It was like astounding to me, the difference, because you'd think, oh yeah, the second time you go up a big hill, it's going to be harder than the first time because you're going to be more tired.
Right.
And this is like, I don't know. I just remember thinking like back in the days of cross country, like
That's
in high school.
That's exactly what I thought.
Yeah, like our like every race you'd get to, it'd be like 30 minutes before your race was about to start, and coach would come over and be like, all right, guys, go do a quick warm-up run. By which he meant like run a mile to a mile and a half.
Right.
Like jog around and get in. And like, I was always like, absolutely not. You want me to go run a mile before I run a 3-mile race?
Right.
No. Like, I'm going to be too tired. Like, I swear if like I could have communicated to our coach, like it's mentally creating the mental block running the mile ahead of time makes for me is worse than just letting me go to the start line.
Like running cold.
Right. Yeah. Like just let me go cold because I'll feel fresh.
Right.
Like running ahead of time makes me feel like I'm wasting energy. And it's like, whether or not that was true, that is mentally what was happening.
Right.
And it was like throwing a wall up and way, like, I'm already so tired, I'm never going to be able to finish 3 more miles.
Right.
Which is silly to think because we easily run more than that at practice.
Every single day. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was so weird. And the thing is, like, as a high schooler, I was probably just right. Like, I don't think we necessarily needed to warm up.
Sure.
It's not like we're, Olympic athletes or something.
Sure.
We're not that good.
Yeah. That's true.
But sure enough, the older I get, God, if it just sounds so old here, the amount of stretching and warm up required to have like a successful ride is like astounding how much easier it makes things.
It is unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
It is. That's the thing. Yeah. Maybe we're just getting older.
I mean, for sure we are. It's just so funny because like you, the old person's like, oh, you know what? I need to make sure I communicate this to all these young whippersnappers here.
Oh yeah.
Because they're the ones I need to teach them now. But like, I remember like you spend 20 minutes every day at track or cross country practice, like stretching, and the whole time, all I could ever think was, I can't even feel this.
I know.
Yep. I can touch the ground, no problem. What is the point?
It was like teaching good habits, but like to people who were just absolutely not seeing the fruits of that labor.
Right.
It's like I appreciate the fact that this is important. I can fundamentally understand it. It's not making any bit of difference for me right now.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's just like reverse lessons though, because then the way you really learn that lesson is when you grow up, you're like, oh, hey, remember when they used to make us stretch all the time? We definitely didn't need to do that. And so you have like 3 or 4 years where that's still true and you can just get away with doing whatever.
Yep.
But then eventually you've completely abandoned all the stretching, and it turns out suddenly, unbeknownst to you, you really did need to stretch.
Right.
All of a sudden, injured, or find yourself heaving and huffing up trough.
Yep.
Without a warm up. But this is just like, I'm not going on any more bike rides without a warm up. It's like, we're going to hit the trail. We're gonna do this little warm up loop first. I'm gonna do a mile before we even start. Okay. Or else. Or I'm leaving.
I will ride more.
And you'll deal with it.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode of The Pop. As always, we appreciate it just so very much. And if you'd like to support us over on Patreon, you can do so by going to patreon.com/popcornculture. Jay and I, every single week, record what we call After the Final Pop. It's just like an extra 10, 15, 20 minutes of bonus content that we put over there.
Yes. It's normally just a little. Sometimes we're just answering your questions. Sometimes it's an extended bit of conversation from the main episode.
It never really feels like we have a solid formula for it.
We don't. Yeah.
It's like we fly by the literal seat of our pants sometimes.
We sure do.
But I think it works. It just means like what felt good that day. Was it answering a question, or was it like having a completely different conversation that we didn't touch on today's show?
You'll never know unless you're there.
You'll never know unless you're there. So you can check that out at patreon.com/popcornculture, or you can find us over on Reddit. Just search Popcorn Culture. Or if you have any feedback on today's episode, you can shoot that over to popcornculturepod@gmail.com. But before we take off for today, I want to give a special thanks to these patrons who support us over on Patreon. We have Joey Lett, Zach Benson, Heather May, Jonah Magnus, Aubrey Romano, Samuel, Rita Blue, Nika Noel, Cody Hack, Ferris Patterson, and Ben Coker. Thank you all for your support on Patreon. Otherwise, until next week,
pop!